Hey guys, I'm going to count this as a vlog. I don't know whether I should, but part of my SleepyVlog countdown number 26. Mostly going to show you a large haul of trades. I seem to be leaning more towards reading trades, or I actually haven't had much time for reading them. I seem to be, in my mind, leaning more towards getting trades. Partially because I can get such great deals on them online. Partially because hardbacks, especially larger size hardbacks or very well produced hardbacks, are very appealing to me. And in some cases, or in a lot of cases, the reading experience can be better in trades. Although I really do flip-flop back and forth. Let's see, is there any kind of floppy comic book nearby? There isn't. Well, anyway, I find that with modern comic books, the art looks really good, especially when the layout involves 2 pages, when it's laid flat, and you can't lay a trade flat. So you're missing something art-wise there, and the art is very important to me. But on the other hand, the regular comic book is full of ads that get in the way of the art. And it's held together with staples, the cheapest form of binding there is in publishing. So it's insulting that it costs you more to get the stapled together pamphlet than the bound paperback. And truthfully, the bound hardback in most cases, when you buy it online with the steep discounts you can get, the bound hardback is cheaper or the same price as buying the floppies. And a hardback with good binding is a very expensive thing to produce. And something made with staples is very cheap. So, yeah, there's a whole economics there. I think I'm going to do another vlog where I do my guesses about the economics of comic books, which is also a very goofy thing that only it exists because we have the time to obsess about these things, and there's a bunch of partial information available on the internet. The internet makes us know too much about their business, I suppose, with monthly sales charts and all kinds of other information. So anyway, I kind of went crazy, as always, as many of us comic book addicts do. Kind of went crazy after my self-imposed no-spending period of time ended, which you guys have, some of you guys who watch all of my videos may have seen I cheated a little bit anyway by buying some stuff from dollar bins and 50-cent bins before my time was up. But, so, I've really been enjoying Unwritten in trade, so I got Volume 7 and Volume 6. Oh, I got them in the reverse order. One interesting thing about Unwritten is the cover artist is nothing like the co-creator, co-plotter artist Peter Gross of the interior art. And although I think the cover artist has kind of a neat, sort of somewhat Asian-looking, evoking style, I think it's a mistake, because it leads me to expect and maybe this is one reason I didn't originally buy it in the floppies when it first came out, even though I was a big Peter Gross and Mike Carey fan, is the covers just evoke something else. And if you were really excited by the cover, I think you would be kind of about the interior, or at least disappointed temporarily. And if you're really not into these covers, you might pass over the book. Anyhow, but I now love Unwritten and plan to read it to the bitter end in trades. Then I got Profit, which I'm following in trades mostly for economic reasons, because it probably would be really cool in the monthly books, although it might be hard to follow the plot in the monthly books. You'd have to go back and reread them. But right when I was about to start buying the monthly books on Profit, they went up to $4 an issue. And I probably paid under $10 for this collection of roughly 6 issues. So, I mean, the economics are just kind of crazy for buying the Floppies. And given that it's a really hard book to follow, I'm really excited to read the second trade. So those are the ones I got in paperback. And when I can, I'm trying really hard to get things in hardback, because I realize in terms of what I'm going to like in the long run, if I can get a decent price on a hardback, it's a great investment for me because I really will savor and enjoy it much more. I already have the Barry Smith Conan Volume 2, which I bought over a year ago at a comic book shop for full price, which was $50. And I paid about half price this time. And the copy that I bought at the comic book shop didn't have the dust jacket. I didn't even realize there was a dust jacket because it just came like this. And my understanding, not that I'm ever interested in reselling hardbacks as a collectible, but if and when any hardback book becomes collectible, a nice intact dust jacket is a large part of its value. At least that's the impression I've gotten at rare bookstores when I've browsed through them. Not an issue with that is Mind Management, which has this kind of cover where they print directly on the hardback, and I always prefer that for some reason. It just really appeals to me. I'm not a big fan of dust jackets, and this is this Mind Management Volume 1 by Matt Kint is a beautiful print object done on this just wonderful feeling paper. And I should be this microphone's become floppy, so pardon me, the volume is probably going to change. I should be knocking on these things, but it's a beautiful book. You still can't spread it flat though, but you can see when you see binding like this, you know it's a higher quality binding. It's a stitched binding with when there's that gap there, that means they spent more money on it. So they spent money on very high quality, very thick paper. This is a very idiosyncratic comic book. I've actually read almost all these issues digitally already. I bought them whenever they were on sale for 99 cents, and I'm very happy to have the physical copy. And I will continue, particularly if they're so nice. Even the list price of this was only $20, so I got it for half that price, I believe, or 45% of that price. So an incredible bargain over, again, a comic book that, as a floppy, is $4 an issue. So that was really nice. I was really happy with that. Here's one that I felt a little ripped off on, although I could not probably even find the original floppy. This is this very obscure magazine Jack Kirby did for DC. He drew 2 issues, and only one of them ever came out, and with a very low circulation. I don't think I've ever seen a copy, or maybe years and years ago I did, in a store. It's an interesting experiment by Kirby, and I haven't had a chance really to read any of it, just look at it. I don't think I enjoy his art black and white, but I don't think it plays well with this gray wash on it. And so the second issue doesn't have the gray wash on it, and I like the look of that much better. Still very cool vintage Kirby stuff. You know me, I'm a Kirby fanatic, so I definitely felt like I had it. There's another one out like this from DC called Spirit World, and I guess I'll eventually have to get that. But the problem here is the list price of this thin black and white comic book hardcover is $40. So even at the discount, which I did get this one at the 50% discount, it's one of my more expensive hardcovers. It's kind of a decent price at $20, but it is black and white, and it's very thin. It's two issues of a like 40-page magazine, so it's like 80 to 100 pages long total. And it's padded out with a few extras, but not a whole lot of extras. So I don't totally regret getting this, but I do feel a little bit ripped off. Of all the books I got, it seemed like the least good deal. And in terms of its list price, I feel like DC's really just trying to scrape as much money off of the memory of Kirby as they can. Speaking of the memory of Kirby, I think at least, well, I've heard that DC gives some money to the Kirby family, and that Marvel does not. I couldn't resist this omnibus of, I don't know what it is, 25 issues or 30 issues of Prime Kirby Thor. I think I own some of these issues, and I used to own a lot more of them. Thor is one of those things from my collection that I managed to lose without knowing how I did it. I don't think I would have given them away. But this is really nice. It's on nice paper. It's oversized. It's bigger than a regular comic book. So I get to enjoy many of my favorite Kirby Thors in a nice big size. Even if someday I want to spend the money and rebuy all these Thors, it'll be nice to have this. And I really love this. And I believe its list price was $100. Yeah. So I bought it for $50. And it feels very worth $50 for me. If it's 25 issues, that would be $2 an issue. Yeah, it looks like it's about 30 issues of the Thor run. And I feel like Kirby really came into his own in the mid to late 60s. And so I really like to have, I'm less interested, although it would be fun to have, in the Thors from the earliest days of Kirby and Lee's Thor. So very happy about that purchase. Then I got 2 Steve Ditko items. And this one is all of Steve Ditko's work for Creepy and Eerie. And it's black and white. But Dark Horse, who publishes it, charges $20. So half of the price of the Kirby black and white. And I think it's a bit meatier. It's got a bit more stories in it. It may only be a little bit longer. It's very interesting. I didn't even know Ditko did work for Warren. Apparently, he really loved the editor there, Archie Goodwin, who is a editor beloved by many people, apparently, in the older days of the comic book industry. And Ditko approached these stories in a lot of different ways, a lot of variations in his style, from just plain inking to kind of washes to using unusual kinds of paper. It's a very nice oversized book at half the price of that DC is charging for their similarly sized Kirby book. And then In-Stock Trades, where I get all these trades, has a bunch of odd sort of semi-self-published stuff by Steve Ditko. But this one isn't what I expected, because it looks like old stuff mostly from Charlton Comics that Ditko must have gotten the rights back on. So it's lots of beautiful art and stuff I've never read before. But I thought I was actually going to be getting stuff that he's done more recently. And so I'll have to look for more of these Ditko packages. They even have advertisements for them on the back. And order those also from in-stock trades. Beautiful artwork, unfortunately published on newsprint type of paper. So that's a little sad. I would rather have paid a little more. This was very, very inexpensive with the 45% discount. Can't find the price on here. Oh, it's actually the receipt's right here. I paid $4.70 for this, so very glad to have that. And a lot of it looks like even better artwork than what he did for Warren magazine. Finally, I actually bought this many months ago before I went on my vacation from spending money. But I haven't read it yet, and I haven't looked at it a whole lot. It's called JLA's Heaven's Ladders, this giant treasury-sized book by Mark Wade and Brian Hitch. And given those creators, I'm a bit surprised I've never heard of it before. But, talking about what format I'd like comic books in, this is the format I'd love all of my comic books in. I guess they wouldn't fit in any boxes, and finding plastic bags for them is hard. But I love the art big. So I'd love it if tons of comic books were published by it like this. Apparently, comic book stores find them murder to deal with these large-sized comics. So if anyone has recommendations of other comic books to dig up like this one, the oversized ones, let me know. That would be great. So I will be back soon. Probably some of my vlogs will be like this. Some will be more meaty since I've got so many more days to fill.